everyone, and welcome to yet another thought-provoking chat on Breaking Stereotypes. Inner voice. Well, it's a concept we have discussed, we have heard, used, but it's quite mysterious. What is this inner voice? Well, the Google definition says that it's an internal monologue result of brain phenomenon which causes us to hear ourselves talk to our own self in our head without speaking aloud. Well, we all have our inner voices. Sometimes we stop, listen, react, and act upon them. But most of the times, we just ignore them. Today on my platform, I have a special guest who listened to her inner voice, and that led her to create something that she's absolutely proud of. Surbhi has masters in commerce. She is an ex-Yahoo employee. She's a content writer and the founder of this beautiful brand called SugarbySurbhi. Hi Surbhi, welcome to Breaking Stereotypes and thank you so much for doing this.
Hi Krupa, it gives me immense pleasure to be on your platform. Thank you so much for inviting me here and thank you for this lovely introduction as well.
Pleasure's all mine. We are going to speak a lot about, the brand and how you went about creating it. But I'll tell you, my first introduction with your art was when I received my house nameplate as a gift from my sister. And I looked at it and obviously it was beautiful. It intrigued me. I wanted to know who did this. And I collected the information. I went on to your Instagram page. I started following you. And the things that you do I was completely blown off. I was like, this is really beautiful. And to me, it stuck that, probably you are an artistic person. You have been doing this from probably a long time. And that was my impression. But in my mind, I was also thinking that, you and my sister have been in the same office. You guys have been friends. So which side of you is this that I'm seeing? And that's how I got interested to know your story. I want to dive right in, Surbhi, and I want to ask you, how did the birth of SugarbySurbhi happen?
Yeah, so Krupa, you're very right. I have, like you pointed out in your introduction, it was art was never my field of that I took a degree in. I'm a self-taught artist and it happened. It just happened to me. So I was on a sabbatical from work 8 years ago. My son was still a toddler. And that's when I started looking out for opportunities on starting something of my own. And I came across this beautiful thought that said, do something new each day. And that thought really stayed with me. And I kind of started thinking on how I could incorporate it in my life. So I started experimenting with a lot of upcycled art. I started, I joined a lot of different pages and groups. A lot of art tutorials were there and I started learning new things each day. Each day I would, think to myself, what can I do today? And he really led me to different craft stores, and one fine day I kind of stumbled on some beads, jewelry beads in a store, and I was so drawn to them. I don't know why. I had no knowledge of how I'm going to use them, how a pair of earrings is made or a neck piece is made, but I just picked up a few beads and I thought to myself, okay, to make an earring, what else do I need? And I just went around the store picking up little things and finishings that would probably need to go into it, and I got all that home. But I forgot to bring a very important thing, which was a pair of pliers. So the first set of earrings that I made was just with my bare hands, and I broke a lot of nails in that process. But once I had a few earrings ready, I got good feedback from my family. I thought, okay, let's go get some more things and the friendly pliers as well. So that's really how journey started, and it started with quilt jewelry. I did silk thread jewelry. I did a whole lot of things, and today too, let that. I keep experimenting very often. I don't limit myself to just one style of jewelry. Whatever kind of hits my eye and I like it, I try to incorporate it into my work. And then I also gradually expanded into home decor accessories, hand painted and handcrafted. So that's how really the journey began.
Honestly, it's amazing to know that you're self-taught, and because I see the kind of things that you are doing and the products that that are the result, and it just doesn't look like you are self-taught and you just developed interest into doing this, because there is so much of precision. The artist in you speaks with whatever you're doing. You started this during the sabbatical, you mentioned.
Yes.
Do you think, as a woman, that post maternity sabbatical, the confidence that you have to go back to corporate life, the acceptance you feel you will get or you wouldn't, do you think such fears lurk in young mothers' mind?
Yes, absolutely. In some ways, it is challenging to go back to your work life. First of all, as a person, you start questioning sometimes, because in the society in general, your self-worth seems to be linked to the paycheck and the zeros on your paycheck, the position that you're holding. So it is very important to kind of break free from that definition of self-worth. You need to recognize what is your self-worth first, and also to go back to your job or to any other job that you want. Training processes that also need to be taken up. So sometimes those are available to you, sometimes those are not available to you. So it does become challenging and harder in some ways. But I would say that times are changing. Even women with longer sabbaticals are slowly getting more opportunities. Women themselves are becoming more woke about their self-worth. So, there is so much talk going on, and there is so much buzz about being valuing yourself and your worth and your self-esteem, that women are slowly moving away from that hesitation, and they're trying to pick up, if not the same job, then at least some other form. Like I started my entrepreneurial journey. So many women are starting off, and there are many creative entrepreneurs out there, who are breaking that stereotypical job kind of scenario for women on sabbatical.
So you think this is sort of becoming a boon right now? It is how we actually look at it.
Yes, absolutely. I feel it is. And I think the past 2 years in lockdown, ever since COVID struck, has re-emphasized that point. Probably a few years ago, when small businesses weren't taken too seriously. There was no real recognition or worth given to them. But in these 2 years, there has been a boom, and you even see a fresh, I know of 10th and 12th standard kids who've started their entrepreneurial journey while they are studying. So a lot of people are getting onto that startup journey, and India in itself has become like a startup capital. In fact, Bangalore itself has so many startups coming up. So I think we are slowly moving into a place, where it is being recognized. Your worth, your talent, and everything is getting recognized, and it is sort of becoming easier now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Because I remember a few years back when someone said, "I have a startup," and people would be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And today, having a startup, as you rightly said, has some recognition attached to it, which actually boosts the person's confidence. and it's not looked down upon. It is not looked
Yes.
down in a way that, oh, you don't have anything to do, and that's why you have started something on your own. But that sort of change in mindset is coming, where people are saying that yes, you have lots of other things to to experiment with. You have different companies to go for jobs and try getting placed, but you have chosen this very consciously to start something of your own. And that I think that sort of respect is now getting attached, and people are really open to this idea. And you're right, lockdown has immensely
Yes.
helped in this. Technology has immensely helped in transformation, and it's still a long way to go, but yes, we are
Yes.
on the right path, and we will definitely see a lot of change in terms of how this is perceived. So, Surbhi,
Yes.
do you think art has sort of filled a void within you? Has it really made you explore yourself, explore your full potential? How has really art helped you in your life?
In many, many ways, actually, Krupa. I mean, like I mentioned a few minutes back also, art to me is therapy. In one word, if I had to say, art is therapy. The joy and the happiness that I derive from crafting and designing jewelry is another level, and it is not restricted to just one day or one time. It is each day when I'm creating something, there is a sense of contentment that I derive, from doing it. And it has also provided me an expression for my emotions. It has provided me a way to express myself. So if I tell you at a more mental level, I feel that it also helps me, keep me calm and balanced through the day, because that emotional outlet has already been given to me. So and over the years, I have not restricted or limited myself to what I want to stick to or do. I keep if some form of art attracts me, I just look up for tutorials and try to learn it. So I may not do so well in the initial attempts, but I try that if it excites me, I will try to get better at it. So I have been able to learn art forms that maybe a couple of years back I would have never thought and imagined that I could have done. So that also is gives a sense of fulfillment in itself. So learning different things and experimenting has given me a greater sense of fulfillment, and I feel a lot more joyed and happy with my own self. They say that don't go looking for happiness outside, happiness lies within. So where do you find it? And I find it in my art. So yes, definitely, it's changed me a lot.
That's beautiful. I mean, every word that you said is something that we do come across, we hear, and just to interact with a person who's applied it and who's saying that, guys, you know what, I have applied what I hear around, and it has really worked for me. That sort of satisfaction that you draw from your everyday work, that's possible, and that's possible when you do something where your heart really lies. And you don't need an external something that works on you to make you happy, but your work itself will create that sort of an environment for you, which fills your soul end of the day.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Could be, but it's not easy. I mean, when you, as you rightly said, self-worth gets attached to a certain amount of paycheck or a brand that you're working with. Oh my God, you are with Yahoo. That's amazing, and now you had to start from the scratch. Yes, you're self-learning, all of that was happening, but around you will hear this chatter that, why don't you go back to work? You were doing so amazing before you took a break. Isn't that an easier option? Isn't that a well-paid thing? These are the things that you are bound to hear around you. So how did that affect you?
Yes, there were on and off these voices who would maybe for the betterment itself suggest that, why don't you go for a more stable income earning job, and why this, because see, running your own business is not an easy task. You have to juggle with so many responsibilities. At the end of the day, I am the person who procures material. I am the person who designs. I am the person who markets it. I am the social media person. I'm doing all sorts of odd jobs while managing my household chores as well, my son as well. So it is definitely not a cup of tea, and it is a very tightrope walk. You need to plan your day out and invest your time mindfully into each activity so that nothing is left behind. And there are budgets to look for, there are financial sides of it, how much to invest. There are patrons who've been with you for the longest time, but there are also people who question the value of your handcrafted product, who may not understand why a product is costing so much, because there has been a lot of hard work involved, right? So there are always those doubts cropping up. Even in your mind itself, you start questioning sometimes, am I doing it right? Is this really required? Do I go back to a nice, comfortable job where I'm told, okay, do this, and then at the end of the month you get this much amount? So that's always there. But
So
the
those days
learning
are
that
there.
you get,
Those
yes,
days are
of
there.
course, bound to be there. Bound to be there. You have your ups and downs. You may come across people, who may say that I'm supportive of you, let's get associated, but who may actually be using you as stepping stones, who may be trying to dupe you sometimes. So all these are learning lessons, and you need to learn from it, and then probably think in your head, what is it that you value more? Do you just value the paycheck at the end of the month? And for me, I value my passion and my craft. So without it, I feel I'm nothing. My self-worth comes from it. And when people are appreciative, and even if people are not appreciative, I feel I am appreciative of each step that I have taken in my journey. Like I said, of course, one wants to have a good clientele, wants to see the success of the business, but also at the end of the day, the joy that you're deriving, that I value a lot more. So I kind of, all the other voices, I kind of tried to block and focus on what is giving me more happiness and joy. So really, that is about it. And the fears and everything are always there, but do not make them your roadblocks. Take them as challenges and use them as springboards to kind of further reach closer to your goal, so to say. That is what I've learned over these 8 years. It's that just keep pushing yourself, just keep pushing your boundaries, and you will reach closer to where you want to be.
That's a beautiful answer. That's a beautiful answer. It's amazing, what you're saying. It's right that the fears will always be there, and it's all about what each day teaches you, what you derive out of it, and continue on your journey, keeping those fears aside. And that's how you really overcome, because there's no other way to do it. They'll always lurk you. The questions will always be there. It's really beautiful that you've sorted things out, and it does not impact and affect you as it does to most people, I think. And this is a beautiful message where you have said that, you have to just take each day and understand what really gives you that sort of happiness within, and forget about the questions that are coming across your way. So what is the vision for the brand, Surbhi? How do you see it? How do you want to scale it up now?
For the first few years, it was more of a learning process. It was more like, I would say I was more of a hobbyist for the first few years, because I was still learning, because I've never done any such thing. So while learning on the job, I would say, because I was even selling at that time in whatever small bit way. But yes, I was learning, and it was more like a hobby. But now, over the past few years, I do visualize that I want to create something bigger out of it. And right now on my to-do list is my website. I want to launch my website, and I'm working on it. So hopefully it should be out very, very soon. And I am also partnering with new age artisanal marketplaces. So like we've always heard of Amazon, Flipkart, and sellers on it. But now there are websites, and there are again startups who are trying to support artists and their unique passions and bring them to a common marketplace without the hassles that bigger marketplaces
Lovely,
give.
lovely.
Yeah. So maybe offline I can tell you about those marketplaces a little more. But yeah, so I've listed on a few of them. So my vision is to start selling this pan-India and globally. And also, COVID, the lockdown phase in COVID taught me a lot. It gave me the idea of kind of, so when we were in lockdown, what I did was, so a lot of this artwork that you see behind me, I created it during lockdown. So I kind of formed a WhatsApp group for my society, the children and women in my society, and I got a very euphoric response for that WhatsApp group. So what I used to do there is, I used to post an artwork, not my artwork, probably some ideas about artworks and how to simply go about doing those on that WhatsApp group each morning. And I would say, let's do it together. So I and my son would do it, and I would also encourage people to do it. So a lot of children, women, and in fact, some women's husbands also started participating in that activity. And I would try, because we didn't have a lot of resources and materials, back then in our stock. I mean, Amazon, nothing was working. So I would try to figure out how best we can upcycle or use just pens, pencils, rounds, or even like coffee painting. So there is a coffee painting that I made with just coffee as, can you see it?
Yeah, I can
maybe
see
I'll
it.
send it. Yeah, so it's with coffee paint, because coffee or tea powders everyone would have at home. So coffee, and then just some doodle work on top with a pen. So so many kids and women got interested, and that gave me the idea that probably start a YouTube channel,
Right.
and share this knowledge with more and more people, because
Absolutely.
Especially during these times, people have been feeling very gloomy, and art can really give you the joy. I mean, truly, I can't emphasize this point more. So my YouTube channel and also my Instagram page has a lot of videos, and I call it cathartic, because I feel art can really give you that catharsis and that upliftment of mood. So this channel is sort of a seedling of those COVID times to take art forward to more and more people in the most simplified manner. And that's what also I'm working towards.
I think what's most beautiful of what you said, Surbhi, is you are manifesting the brand to become bigger. That's one side of it, which deserves to be larger than what it is right now, for sure. The kind of work you're doing, but you're also trying to propagate the art. You're trying to give back to the society the joy that you are experiencing. I think that's really beautiful. The thought process is beautiful, and I can only wish you all the best in what you're doing, the efforts that you're putting in both sides. You definitely, the brand and what you want to do, I can already imagine it becoming bigger, because you have your thought process aligned, you have the right intentions in your mind, and nobody can stop you. So thank you so much for coming on the platform, for sharing with us your story, which is going to inspire so many who are going to tune in and listen to it. So thank you so much for doing this, and more power to you and the brand.
Thank you so much, Krupa. It was a wonderful chat, truly from the bottom of my heart. And the very fact that whatever I was trying to communicate, you were just so beautifully making it crisper and sharing it further. So thank you so much for inviting me. It gives me a lot of pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And more power to you too, because what you are doing with Breaking Stereotypes is just wonderful. I think each woman needs that recognition, whatever small or big we are doing, not just women, people, just people in life, and they need to be recognized for the kind of work that they are doing. So thank you so much for bringing out their stories in such a beautiful manner. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. I think like you said, the birth of your brand happened because you felt that this is where I can put my heart in. This is what is giving me the joy. So even if you had to put that extra effort, even if you had to put more hours in learning, you were still okay. There was no complaint, there was no dissatisfaction attached to it. And I think this is where this platform is where I put my heart in, and that's how the birth of Breaking Stereotypes also happened. And the idea was, as you rightly said, during lockdown, everybody learned their own lessons. And for me, I was like really constricted to only say few number of people, the family is there and you hardly go out, you hardly get to meet and have human connections. And I was like lost. I was like, how would I even grow as a person if I'm unable to connect to people, talk to people? And this thought really made me feel that if this is how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling my growth is stunted because I'm not talking to people, it's best that I connect, use technology, connect to people and, talk to them, share their stories. And I don't know how many people who tune in will really listen and have some takeaway, but this is my personal growth. More than anybody else, this is my personal growth because I'm getting to learn from you. I'm getting to learn from everybody who's coming and sharing their story. And it's just adding more to what I am. And I really I want people to come on this platform, listen to these beautiful stories that we are striving to put forth. And if they can really pick some element, add on to themselves and make their life better, beautiful, that's the whole purpose.
Absolutely. And wonderful, wonderful. You listen to your inner calling too, I would say.
Yes, could not ignore it. It was too strong.
That is great.
So lovely, Surbhi. Thank you so much. It was a lovely Sunday chat. I learned so much from you. And
same here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. You too. Bye.
Bye.